Hello, welcome. It is Sheila Bicknell, BlueWater Oracle here on Wednesday, June 13th, just before 11 a.m. And I have some watery, mystical music. It just came on my computer on a shuffle, and I thought I would leave it on as we introduce. So I'll turn it off in a few moments so that you can hear me more clearly, but it felt very appropriate for today. So, hi, how are ya? It's a new moon where we are. And let me turn down the music here. Hold on. Turn this sucker down. There we go. The joys of computers where you can multitask at the same time. So, Wednesday, it's midweek and it's a new moon. I live in eastern Quebec. So I live, oh, hold on. Somebody's just trying to contact me. All right. So just connect on. If you're on, you can just connect onto the call, onto the live, and touch base and join in. Yeah, so I live in Eastern Quebec, so just outside Montreal area, and it is a new moon at the moment. And this is sometimes a time where people will feel particularly emotional or particular connections with themselves, with intuition, with guidance, anything of that nature. So I wrote about the full moon in my newsletter last month, and I thought I would jump on today and do a live for a little bit of a balance. So nature is awesome at its balance, right? It is really good at balancing things and at managing all different stuff at once, from microbes to insects to big animals to plant life, as well as weather. Like, nature manages it all. We, however, hi Sarah, you made it, good job. We, however, as humans, I find in general, we're not quite as good at managing this natural balance. And sometimes we're even fighting against the natural balance. So I have had a couple of conversations over the last little bit with people, and we're discussing that balance between mind and body and spirit, the balance between ego and what the rest of our system needs. So there's tons of things going on. And my perspective is usually that there is not one thing that is necessarily more important than another, but it's all in a question of balance. So it will depend on what is going on with you, what's going on with your system, and what is happening in your life in that moment. So certain times, one thing will go up higher, and then it will be balanced as another takes its place. And it all depends on what we need right now. So, being a new moon today, it is also midweek. How are you doing? How are things? Are you noticing a lot of emotions? Are you noticing a lot of intuitive hits? And intuitive hits could be where you think about something and then something related to it happens, where you think about a person and then they call you, where you're reading something and then you read the same thing 3 or 4 times. These are types of things that can be called intuitive hits, and they're happening all the time to us. Quite often we're not paying attention or we're not in tune with them. So we're at a frequency that's running different, and so then we don't see them as much. So for me today, I'm having a day where I think it's pretty much all intuition all the time, and that can be fun. It can also be very challenging when you actually have business stuff to do and emails and Facebook things. So I try to ride the wave between them. So I've got sort of a blue light wood necklace on that called to me from my jewelry. I have this very pretty, I don't know if I can get it close enough to the camera. It's a full moon with a crow and a cross on it. I have a ring like that too. For some of you who know me, you might know that you've seen my ring. So I know it's a new moon, but the full moon, the moon is always there. We just don't see it as much in the dark. So I wanted to wear those. I've got selenite in my pocket. My hair is doing the fluffy wild thing today. So riding the wave of the new moon. And I'm happy to have you join me, whether you're watching live, whether you pop in for a minute or for the whole time. I'm happy to have you visiting. So I am an Oracle intuitive. So I bring people guidance and insights, help them to see what they most need to know in their lives at that moment. So I'm not fortune telling, I'm not predicting. That's just not my skill set. It's not my gift. I really work through things with people so that they can ponder in a different way, they can reflect in a different way, and receive information that perhaps they wouldn't have noticed otherwise. And I do this intuitively, which means I receive, could be messages, could be channeling, could be just connection with someone's soul and their highest self, and a lot of other possibilities. And I also use oracle cards. I use oracle cards. I love oracle cards. I love tarot cards too. I have huge respect for tarot cards. I own a few decks. I tend to work more with the oracle. They just gel a little easier with me at the moment. I have some tarot contacts who say, "Oh, you'll get into tarot for sure. We'll show you how to do it. You'll get there." Maybe, maybe not. But for now, I'm with the oracle cards and I love them. And so this is a deck called Earth Magic, and that's a deck that's been talking to me this morning. It was talking to me yesterday. I have my membership group, my membership community called the Oracle Cove, and we were doing a live yesterday in there for the members, and this deck definitely wanted to come out, and it still wants to. Makes sense, new moon, very earth-oriented. So how about we have a look at a card for everyone, and let's take a deep breath. Okay, so breathing deeply, relaxing. This is your time, right? Even though I'm the one on video, ultimately it's your time. It's time for you to breathe, time for you to connect, time for you to feel, to acknowledge, to release, to notice. Whatever is important for you, that is the basis of doing a reading. It's to help you connect with things that are important for you so that your life can feel better, your life can connect with amazing things, and you can breathe more easily. Oh, there we go. Okay, see the sticky out card right here? Yep, we're going for that one. Sometimes they jump, sometimes they stick out. So, Sarah, you're going to laugh. Sarah and I were just chatting. And so what do we get? We get the autumnal equinox card, the release card. Okay. And I believe I had this card yesterday. I have a terrible memory when it comes to when did I pull cards recently. Pretty sure I pulled this card yesterday as well. So it's the release card. Okay. And what that means to me, if I get cards being pulled more than once, especially if it's in a group dynamic like this, it's because there's crossover of messages. And it's also because there's something perhaps that either I didn't say yet that still wants to be said, or that someone didn't hear yet that needs to be heard. So although we're talking about the autumnal equinox, we're only a week away from the summer solstice, right? A little bit more than a week, 8 days away. Just gonna fix some music on here. Hold on. I think it's pretty quiet. If the music is loud, just let me know, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty quiet. So we're coming up to the shift of the summer solstice. And if anybody has followed me or has joined me on my local events where I do evening events with readings, the card for last year's summer solstice event was the autumnal equinox, the release card, releasing. So does that mean that for a whole year we've been releasing stuff? Well, maybe, because it takes time to release. It takes time to realize what is happening, what is important to me, and what is shifting, and allow that shift to come forward. For this week, right here, right now, I do believe that there's also some stuff that's being released. And when I say release, what does that mean? It means that you could have a process of thoughts, or it means that you could have a heart process. or something stuck in your energy, in your body that no longer serves you. So it's basically asking to be released, right? And so this is the card. So Sarah, I don't know if you saw, I was laughing because you and I just chatted. So this is the card I just pulled from the Earth Magic deck. Release. In case we weren't paying attention. All right, the release card. And I think I said that I believe that I pulled it also in my Oracle Cove live group for members yesterday. Yeah, no worry. Don't worry about it. So yes, we can still be releasing stuff. It's because there are layers of things. And as humans, for the majority of people, yes, Sarah's going, wow. Yeah, I know. So for the majority of people, if we were to release everything that needs to be shifted, or that no longer serves us, or that has just got stuck on, that it's time to let it go, whether it's from this life or another life, if we were to do all of that at one time, that would be pretty intense. And the majority of humans that I know of have other responsibilities as part of their human existence. They have family, they have jobs, they have homes, they have loved ones, they have friends, they have their own personal things that they're working on. So when we need to be releasing stuff, we can't always do it all at one shot. And this is why sometimes you'll hear of people going on retreats, whether they're healing retreats or meditative, or just a vacation away that is really designed to focus and relax. And that can be because it gives us an opportunity to release things and to let things go that otherwise perhaps finds it a little difficult to do during daily living. And yeah, the release could be, Sarah's saying it could be something related to pain. Yes, it could be. And each person is going to be releasing different stuff at different phases based on their journey. There can be crossing over, right? Yeah. There's going to be crossing over where sometimes a whole group of people are releasing the same type of stuff, and then you get more energy and you get more shifting with it. Can people release things all at once, all of their stuff? Honestly, I don't know. I would say yes. I would say they can. When they're living in an environment that allows them to do that and to be safe and well. And when their system, their mind, body, spirit, soul connection all aligns to say, I'm done with that. We're releasing everything. We're releasing, not everything. We're releasing all the stuff that no longer serves us. And we hear of people who have done that. We hear of people making major life advances, shifts, where something happens. Perhaps they go from a very low point to feeling really in charge and really controlling, and seeing how everything adjusts from there. So yeah, you can release a whole bunch of stuff, but you have to be aware of, how am I taking care of myself during it? You are a human living a human experience as well as a spiritual and soul being. So we have all of this, nature again, in that balance, okay? Nature gets it, us, not quite so much. We're learning always, as a society, as a group, as a whole, and as individuals. So this autumnal equinox, this release, okay? Yeah, so sometimes when if we're feeling as though we need to really connect with what we're releasing, or to do some grounding, sometimes by touching something very physical, that can help. That's something that Sarah said that I had mentioned to her at one point. And yeah, so it can. Touching nature, right? So touching a tree, because there's huge wisdom and energy in a tree, even a small tree. A rock has its own energy and wisdom, and that's one of the reasons why many of us carry rocks or crystals around, those that I know. We tend to have pockets of them, or bracelets or jewelry that have crystals, or carrying rocks from the waterway nearby or from our driveway. It doesn't matter, whatever resonates to you. Touching water can be another way. Water is known for that releasing capacity, as it washes things in and out. And by connecting with all of those, or any of those nature things, you also connect with a vibration that's very different from all of that processing, all of that thinking and processing that can happen. Okay, so we have this release, and the beauty of this card also is that we have this light coming down. So from the artist's perspective, it was probably sunlight coming through. From my perspective and what I'm feeling and hearing today is to remember that you do have support. You do have connection that is there to help. And for some individuals, this is a really difficult concept to grasp. Some people have been, unfortunately, very hurt by religion and religious events around the world and how they're in their own teaching. And others, like myself, I have learned to appreciate my religious upbringing in what I learned, and the sort of, I guess, the methodology that it brought me up in, the security in one way. I was never made to feel really negative about it, which I'm very grateful for. And now I expand that vision. So I look at it not from a religious point of view, but that religion is one component in faith, in belief, in understanding of energy and vibration and human existence, as well as life force, energy, divine, whatever else you call it. So I wish I had all the answers. I do not, but I do strongly believe that we are connected and that there is guidance and support available to us at all times. And that can come in our own life. We mentioned early on today the intuitive hits. It can also come in connecting with people. So some people will come and see someone like me when they're looking for more of that connection, when they want to be able to confirm things that they have been feeling or trying to understand and get that confirmation from a different perspective. Does it work? Yes. Yes, it does. I have to say yes, it does, because I've felt it. I've been a part of it, and it can really help people if that's where they want to go. If not, they can also go to a religious location and receive support and connection there. It's whatever serves you, but just know that you do have that connection. Know that there is that light and that guidance available to you. And it's there for you. It's a part of us. It's a part of all of us. Whether we choose to think about it or not, it's still there. Right? A bit like something as basic as breathing and oxygen. Whether we choose to focus on it or not, it's still there. And thankfully, it's still there. Otherwise, we would not be here. So, things can be as basic as that. You can choose to focus on it more at certain times and to be aware of it, or you can just allow it to be and be a part of you. And sometimes you'll notice that you get more and more connected, so it's less of a distinction of thinking about it and more just is. Okay? So we have that card. I'm just thinking, I'm pondering. I know I want to do another card. Let me just see. I have my different decks. Of course, one that's not unwrapped wants to come out. So the first card was the autumn equinox. And I think part of that one was also acknowledging that full circle for me as I plan my next summer event, which is June 20th in Point Claire in the Valois area. So full circle there. Okay. And as I say that, I get the sense that it's a reminder that a lot of things are a full circle, right? That idea of a circle and a sphere is really important. It's important in nature. You get the spiral as well as the actual circles. Things do come in circles and in spiral. The seasons, the moon, the orbits are all different versions of circles and spirals. So there's an importance in there as well. And perhaps, Sarah, that could be something for you and for me and for other people. Again, that if you need to connect, but you are not somewhere where you can, grab a rock or hold a tree or put your hand in some water, play around with the idea of doodling. So maybe doodle a circle, doodle a spiral, and see if that connects you, because there is something very basic of a natural origin of numeric basis, connectivity in that spiral symbol. So you can play with that too and see if, and that's just really cool. I just got that. That's really cool. So play with it and see, and let me know. Let me know if it helps. I think there is something in there as well. So that spiral, that circle. All right. So we've pulled out the Gateway Oracle cards, one of the decks from Denise Lynn, and that I have, one of her decks that I have, and we're just going to shuffle. So we're looking to continue on what we received from the Autumn Equinox card, the release card. For anyone who listens to this, who gets touched by the energy of this reading, whether they watch it or not. Sometimes I know Facebook, you don't see stuff, or it just pops by and you don't have a chance to watch it. I understand. What is important will come back to you, and we'll connect with you. Oh, somebody else going to connect in? That would be awesome. All right, so let me see here. Very nice. All right, making a difference. A little closer. I always put it on an angle because otherwise you get all the reflection of the computer. So making a difference. And the affirmation on this card, some of the cards have affirmations, and it says, my inner light shines far and wide. So here we have water, we have clouds, we have a starfish, so the star symbol. We have the hand coming from above. And we also have a mouth, as in the speaking, the voice, the using our words, or using our words or voice, and also a smile, right? They're in a smile. So do not underestimate the importance of something as simple as a smile. We tend, especially those of us who are in service, those of us who are in healing modalities, we may tend to want to really be sort of big and go and touch others and do a lot of stuff, which is great, is fantastic. But sometimes just as simple as a smile to ourselves, a smile to another. This is very valuable. It's very important. All right. We don't know, as I look at this card, I'll put it back up. So see the big waves and how they shift as they sort of come up against the beach over here. Okay, so the big waves moving. We don't know really what somebody else, we don't know what somebody else is really experiencing and going through in their life. And last week was a good indicator of that for anybody following on social media or in general media. Unfortunately, 2 celebrities made the decision to end their current life and to move on. And that hit a lot of people, as it always does. And it's a point of reflection. I did put a post about suicide prevention on my Facebook page. If you didn't see it, if it's important to you, or if you know anybody that's important, I encourage you to talk about it, to share it with people. I am not an expert on it, but it's always good for us to be a little bit reminded that there are numbers out there we can call. There are things that we can do as we're listening to people. So here in this context, it's not necessarily to be as heavy as that, although I do feel that pretty strongly as I talk about it. But it's also that just to remember that when we don't know what's going on behind the scenes in people's lives, just if I think about, the different stuff and phases of my own life, and I've had a really good life, pretty easy, majority of it, thankfully. I have had some very intense times, some very difficult times, some very life-altering times. And everybody I know has had that. But we never know what people are going through. So the idea of a smile, the idea of saying, I'm going to let my light shine because it might just shine on somebody else who really needs it that day. And that in itself is huge, right? We spoke a little bit about religion, and some types of religion teaching is to dull that shine, is to not let that shine, that light really shine from us. And my perspective now is that is not the divine essence I know, the God energy I know and work with, would never want somebody to dull their light. They would want their light to shine and to be big and beautiful and touching and honoring of life and other people's lives. No, it isn't necessarily always from a place of selfishness or arrogance or even, what's the word I'm looking for these days, where it's not very respectful of other people's journeys. I don't think that's where the light wants to shine from. It's to shine from that the person is genuinely just trying to say, look, I have this light, I have this smile, I have this exuberance, or I have these tears today, or I have this piece of information that I can share that I think was very valuable, and I'm sharing it to you. How you take it is entirely up to you. So this making a difference happens on all levels. It isn't only on the big, broad stages, although those are awesome and can be great and serve a lot of people at one time. But it can also be in those little tiny moments at the grocery store, walking down the street, saying hi to somebody in social media, sending a text to a good friend. Any of those are hugely valuable and really important. So allow those and remember those, okay? So making a difference. And again, we have this supportive hand. You are connected, you are being supportive, and you can then go on and be a support for others, for other people, okay? I feel those are pretty good from there. So I think I will probably sign. Oh, no, there's another one. Hold on. This is what happens sometimes, especially in a group reading. I kind of just let it flow. All right, so we've got the new moon going on. We've touched on releasing. We touched on making a difference, big and small, letting our inner light shine far and wide. And we want to go back to, yes, Sarah? I think I'm going to go back to the Earth Magic cards. Sarah and I are hanging out, holding space for everyone. Oh, what's that phone number for? Don't forget, this is live, eh? This is public, so don't put a phone number. Oh, West Island Crisis Center. Okay, thank you. Really good. So that is a good one to put up. Yes. Okay, so we live, I live just outside Montreal area, but on the island of Montreal, the west section is called the West Island. And Sarah is just sharing a phone number that is a West Island Crisis Center. So for anyone who is going through any kind of psychological crisis, emotional crisis, they don't know what to do, this is a helpline that they can call. So on the West Island in Montreal, 514-684 6160. So it's a helpline, and West Island Crisis Center. And again, as you would see in my post that I did a couple days ago, you would see a suicide prevention number. And these are just important info to have. And it's important to, Sarah says, do not hesitate to call. So yeah, if there's a question. And I heard a great person on the radio, and I apologize, I cannot remember what they were from, what organization. I believe it was on CJD, and I believe it might have been a cancer prevention, there's a West Island Cancer Wellness Center that I do volunteering for sometimes, so that's the name that's in my mind. But there was a suicide prevention person talking on CJD, Montreal Radio, and hi Christina, hello, and they mentioned that suicide can sometimes be a buildup over time, that things just get worse and worse and worse. And also that sometimes it can be one thing is happening in that moment. And they said that it can sometimes be a long-term solution to a short-term problem. And I thought that is very powerful, very moving, very sad. And as I said, I'm not an expert on suicide at all, But I do hope that people can feel some of this energy. So Sarah and I are holding space, and hoping that people who need to hear these kind of messages do get the help they need and do get the support they need, because it can be so hard. Exactly. So Sarah says sometimes the courage it takes to call is the biggest one of all. So please call if you need that. If you need that support, we're holding you. We are saying you're not alone, even if it feels you're utterly alone in that moment. You are not alone. And these numbers exist for you to call when you have nobody else to call and talk to. Okay? We're holding you. We're holding your space and wishing you the help you need on deep levels. And we're also wishing that our society just gets better at all of this, because we're not super good at it yet. So we're hoping we will get much better at it. So maybe that's why we need another card. Let's look. Okay, so we're going to do this. Thank you for your sharing, Sarah. Really great to have those reminders and those numbers, and I'm happy you're on the call. Thank you so much. So, right. So again, Earth Magic Oracle cards by Stephen Farmer, one of my baseline decks. Deck that I love and I love to work with. I love their energy. Just trying to find the right card here. Okay. So we have the wind card. We have the activation card. And let me just look outside. I have a window. So right now, I believe we're in the calm before the storm. I think that there's some storm fronts moving into our region. So they would be maybe hitting Ontario at the moment. And so sometimes that comes with wind. And so the first part of this is to say, if and when wind comes into your life in the near future, don't only look at it as a negative, as an intensity, but look at it as things blowing through, blowing into your life, and blowing out of your life. And really just let it flow. Whatever needs to happen, let it flow. It's not always easy, but just go with it. Okay, this is nature's way of doing stuff that sometimes we can't see and understand. You can do like I do and look at all my trees and say, hold on, everybody, because it's going to be big. But know that they're actually more prepared than we are. Wind in my sails. I love it. Yeah. So activation. When we think about the activation component in the context of everything we've talked about here this morning, I would like to say that this is that we are shifting stuff. We are activating stuff. Just the fact that we're discussing this together in this way has meaning, has value, has power. And I believe that we can come together, all groups come together in this format. And so we are activating. So take a bit of time today with this new moon, this beautiful dark phase, where it asks us to reflect, where we may feel shadows, we may see things that we didn't see before because the light is totally different. What do you want to activate? What do you want to shift? What do you want to move in or move out of your life? And really get it in there as this wind comes in. Get it in there as this releasing is happening and as the supportive light is coming in. So people often look at the darkness as being very negative, but it actually serves a huge purpose, and it is part of the balance, right? It is part of the balance. So the wind of the new moon moving in to activate stuff, as we have looked at releasing, we've looked at making a difference, letting our inner light shine, and getting support and guidance when we need it. All right? So I am going to sign off from there. As always, I look forward to further comments as people jump on and watch or read. And thank you so much, Sarah, for participating and being there today, and for Christina for popping in. And again, I'm Sheila Bicknell, BlueWater Oracle, and today we use the Earth Magic Oracle cards from Stephen Farmer. and the Gateway Oracle cards by Denise Lynn, and both are available through Hay House, the publishing house. Yes, I'm so glad you tuned in as well. And I am Sheila Bicknell, otherwise known as BlueWater Oracle, in my online presence, and I do Oracle intuitive work. I do events, card readings, individual, written, and I also have a membership, online membership, the Oracle Cove. So my next event is next Wednesday, June 20th at the Valois location of Chef en Vedette in Pointe Claire, and I would love to have you there. So please get in touch for any information, and I look forward to reading your comments and to see you elsewhere on social media on Facebook. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Enjoy the new moon. Enjoy the new moon. Bye. Bye, Sarah.